Are you ready for a great adventure? Today on The World is Yours. Our first stop will lead us to one of the biggest and best museums in all of China. We'll learn all about the culture and history of this great nation right in the heart of Chongqing. From this landlocked Asian metropolis to a European Gulf, we'll join the locals in Finland, traveling by tram to a fortress across many islands. There's no city in the Nordic region quite like Helsinki. And before our trip is complete, we'll go west to the United States, to a state full of natural wonder. We'll see some of the most magnificent canyons and ski on some of the best mountains in America in the state of Utah. So, strap on your boots. Here we go. The world is waiting, and the world is yours. With a population of over 30 million people, Chongqing is so big. Each of its urban districts is like its own entire city. Though Chongqing is not on the coast like many of China's other major cities, its location in the Yangtze Basin and near the river has made it a major economic hub and an emerging Chinese megacity. Chongqing has been an important capital settlement since the rule of ancient dynasties, like the Qin dynasty in the 3rd century, all the way through the reign of the Ming dynasty in the 17th century. During World War II, American soldiers and their allies were based in Chongqing, and the mountainous region protected soldiers from enemy bombings. The locals of the city helped so much during the war that Chongqing was later referred to as the City of Heroes. Within the Shopingba district of Chongqing lies a town with an ancient history called Shikeku, which in Chinese means porcelain port. Shikeku was an important town for the production and trading of porcelain during the Ming and Qing dynasties, over 600 years ago. Positioned right on what was then the Jiaoyan River and in the heart of Chongqing, the town of Shikeku is a reflection of the city's ancient roots since its original foundation 1,000 years ago. The narrow streets through Shikeku are packed with locals and tourists. There are shops full of porcelain and other handmade crafts, and quaint restaurants and tea shops that give us a look into Chongqing's rich past. Let's make a quick stop and get a bite to eat. How about a famous dish in Shikeku? Like the classic Chinese hot pot, a spicy soup full of meats, vegetables, and dumplings. This dish is so popular in Shikeku that there's even a hot pot festival with all different kinds, and even some mega bowls to honor the mega city of Chongqing. We can also get a taste of the Yanhu peanuts, Ma Xiwang, and Shishengpi, which are referred to by locals as the 3 treasures of Shikeku. To see some of the historic Chinese architecture preserved in Sekicho, we'll visit the compound of Zhongs, experience Zen in the bayou dwellings, and see the 600-year-old Baolun Buddhist temple, which was constructed entirely without a single nail holding the structure in place. It's true, not a single nail, making it a famous piece of Chinese architectural history and a pilgrimage for Buddhists all over the world. The wonders outside of Chongqing, along the Yangtze River, are 3 gorges. And the 3 gorges occupy what is considered to be one of the most beautiful landscapes in all of China. In fact, the tourism department in the Republic of China has given it the highest ranking for any scenic area in the country. The gorges run through the main part of the river, beginning first at Chongqing, specifically at the Body City, and extending down to the Yangtze River for nearly 200 miles, to Yingchang City. This space is known as the 3 Gorges region, and it's not only considered particularly stunning scenically, but also covers a region of China that is full of history, found within its archaeological sites and ancient cities. The 3 Gorges Museum pays tribute to all of these aspects of the region. Located in the Youhua district of Chongqing, it is one of the largest museums in all of China, with a mission to research and preserve the culture and environment of the region. As well as educating visitors, the 3 Gorges Museum has many significant exhibits. The 4 main displays include the ancient bayou and the early history of Chongqing. The exhibit Chongqing, the City Road, highlighting the history of the 20th century. A hall that covers the time during China's war with Japan. And glorious Three Gorges, and all that encompasses the stunning region along the Yangtze River. We'll also see plenty of Chinese paintings, calligraphy, ancient coins, and sculptures that date back over 2,000 years. Amazing! Of course, there's also plenty of what Chikweku is best known for. All that historic porcelain. We'll learn a lot here about Chinese history, and in particular, the history of the Three Gorges region. The Three Gorges aren't the only natural landmarks Chongqing is known for. Within Wulong County, in Chongqing, we'll find the Wulong Karst. The area, full of natural wonder and part of the Wulong Karst Natural Geology Park, can be experienced in 3 unique parts. The first contains 3 bridges made of natural limestone, named, appropriately, the 3 natural bridges. The Tianlong Bridge, the Qianlong Bridge, and the Hailong Bridge. The next area, called the Qianku Tiangkeng Scenic Area, is home to 5 tiangkengs, or sinkholes, which, including the surrounding caves, is believed by some to be the only group of sinkholes in the world to have formed like these. The last unique section of the Wulong Karst is the Furong Cave Scenic Area. The Furong Cave, located where the Furong and Wu rivers meet, is over 9,000 feet long. And with many shafts running through its limestone, the cave is a wonderland of passageways for tourists and travelers who visit and tour the cave daily. A real splunker's paradise. That's what we'll be called when we explore these caves. That is, until we head to our next great city. But first, let's test your world knowledge. Locals of Helsinki, the capital of Finland, refer to the city as which Swedish word? A. Stadi. B. Hesa. C. Hoki. D. Helsing. The answer coming up when we return to The World is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. Locals of Helsinki, the capital of Finland, refer to the city as which Swedish word? A. Stadi. B. Hesa. C. Hoki. D. Helsing. If you said A. Stadi, you're right. Though all the names listed have some connection to Helsinki, locals call it Stadi, or city, from the Swedish word stad. Even the language natives use isn't called Helsinki slang, but stadinslangi. This dialect in Helsinki borrows certain words from other languages that aren't found in Finnish. Unlike Helsinki itself, other cities in Finland are called kaupunki, the Finnish word for city. The largest city in Finland, Helsinki is located in the south of the country, on the coast of the Gulf of Finland. And it holds some interesting records, including being the northernmost city in the entire world with an urban population of over 1 million, as well as the northernmost capital city in the European Union. And though you'd think being the northernmost anything would mean life in the big city is pretty cold, Helsinki is regarded as having one of the highest standards of living, and has been ranked by multiple surveys as one of the most livable cities in the world. Meaning, the quality of life is great for those living in Helsinki. And it's no wonder, with so much to see and do. One of the most remarkable sights in Finland is the Suomenlinna Fortress. This expansive sea fortress covers 6 islands in the Gulf of Finland, forming part of Helsinki itself. Originally named Sveaborg when it was controlled by Sweden, the name was changed in 1918 to Suomenlinna, the Castle of Finland, though the Finnish people still refer to it by its Swedish name. When Peter the Great established his capital in Russia at St. Petersburg, the city, situated on the Gulf of Finland, needed a fortified naval base. And so, he established Kronstadt. The Russians' growing power threatened Sweden, who up to this point did not have a base in range should the Russians attack. Swedish parliament decided to build the fortress in Helsinki, which they occupied at the time after they failed to build up defenses during the Russo-Swedish War, leading to the construction of Sveaborg in 1748. Now, the present-day fortress is a destination for both tourists and locals. There are museums and landmarks honoring the history of the fortress, as well as some of the preserved warships, and even the last of the Finnish submarine fleet, the Vesiko. During summer months, visiting numbers are very high. Helsinki has a great public transit system. The Helsinki Trans system is part of this system, run by the Helsinki Regional Transport Authority, and the main mode of getting around in the city. It is also one of the oldest electric tram systems in the world. With 10 lines and growing, the trams make Helsinki a green urban center, with almost every line running down a main street, making it a more traditional system rather than a more modern light rail train. These trams share the roadways with buses and cars. There are electric wiring up above, and they even have their own traffic lights. Though, these lights are a little different than the traffic lights we're familiar with. In order to keep the trams running in sync with the rest of the traffic, they use a similar 3-symbol traffic light. A horizontal line when the tram approaches signals it to slow down, while the S means stop. Then, when the arrow appears, it means it's time to go again. Even without speaking Finnish or Swedish, these maps are easy to read, and we can find the route we need to get to our next stop with ease. We'll just jump on the tram and cruise our way over to the Helsinki Cathedral. Located in the center of the city, the Helsinki Cathedral is a major landmark with both historical and architectural significance. Built in 1852 in honor of Tsar Nicholas I of Russia, and at the time, the Duke of Finland, it was called St. Nicholas's Cathedral until Finland claimed its independence. The building itself is known for its white pillars and green domes. Designed by the German architect Carl Ludwig Ingel, who also designed many other buildings surrounding it, which make up the Senate Square, the cathedral being the focal point of the area. We can visit the cathedral and see its stunning interior, as well as admire the exterior design, before we stroll through the Kruunenhaka neighborhood right in the heart of Helsinki. And then we'll fly from Finland to the United States to our final location. But first, let's test your world knowledge. Ute, from the Ute tribe, from which the state Utah gets its name, means what in English? A. People of the valley. B. People of the desert. C. People of the mountains. D. People of the party. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. Ute, from the Ute tribe, from which the state Utah gets its name, means what in English? A. People of the valley. B. People of the desert. C. People of the mountains. D. People of the party. If you said C, people of the mountains, you're right. The Ute people hail from the western United States and now primarily live in the mountainous regions of Utah and Colorado. Though most Ute tribespeople speak English now, some still speak the original Ute language. The great Ute culture still exists in these states, and even parts of New Mexico and Wyoming. Of the 3 recognized Ute tribes, the Uinta Ure, the Southern Ute, and the Ute Mountain tribes, The majority reside in the state of Utah, named for the Great Ute tribes. Utah became the 45th state out of 50 states of the United States on January 4th, 1896. Because of its natural landscapes and its mountainous regions, Utah is a major destination for people looking to explore the outdoors. Though it is the 13th largest state by sheer area, it only ranks 31st in population. So there's a lot of open space to roam. About 3 million people live in the entire state. And of that population, nearly 4/5 live in the state's capital, Salt Lake City, and the surrounding area. Salt Lake City sits amidst Utah's grand mountainscape. And it's the urban center of the state, as well as one of only 2 major cities in the Great Basin. A region of mountains and desert that extends across most of Nevada and parts of California and Oregon. The city was founded in 1847 by Brigham Young, a follower of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He and a group of followers, known as Mormon pioneers, left the Midwest to seek religious freedom. The land was harsh, and they had to irrigate it to create a sustainable living environment. The work they put in to create a home for themselves is still evident today. The church has its headquarters here in Salt Lake. And roughly 60% of the people of Utah identify as Mormon. The city has grown since its initial development and draws people from all over its proximity to the amazing outdoors of Utah. Salt Lake City was host to the 2002 Winter Olympics. And even one of the biggest film festivals in the United States, the Sundance Film Festival, is held in nearby Park City every year. Outside of Salt Lake lies great expanses of canyon and rock formation. And the Canyonlands National Park is one of the greatest collection of these red rock formations in America. Located in southeast Utah, Canyonlands National Park is divided into 4 sections: the Island in the Sky, the Needles, the Maze, and the Combined Rivers, where the Colorado and Green Rivers meet, eroding the canyons that make up the Colorado Plateau. There's so many great ways to experience these canyons, but we want to get above it all to really take in the magic. The city of Moab, located right near the Canyonlands, is where we'll find the vessel of our dreams, a hot air balloon. Once we step into the basket of the balloon, we'll be transported high into the sky, floating in the clouds over a sea of intricate patterns cut into the stone over centuries. And we'll glide across the Canyonlands, taking in one of Earth's great wonders from every direction. When we return from our ballooning escapade, it'll be time for one last exciting adventure before our trip concludes. But first, let's test your world knowledge. 7 of Utah's major ski resorts are all found on which mountain range? A. Beaver Mountain, B. Powder Mountain, C. Wolf Mountain, D. Wasatch Range. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. 7 of Utah's major ski resorts are all found on which mountain range? A. Beaver Mountain, B. Powder Mountain, C. Wolf Mountain, D. Wasatch Range. If you said D. Wasatch Range, you're right. While the first 3 mountains do have large ski resorts in Utah, the range which holds most of the major skiing destinations is the Wasatch Range. This mountain range, which extends 160 miles south through the state of Utah, is home to the Alta, Brighton, Deer Valley, Park City, Snowbird, Solitude, and Sundance ski resorts. Skiing in Utah is one of the biggest tourist draws to the state, and one of the biggest contributors to Utah's economy. In the early 20th century, it was just a pastime that some residents enjoyed. But it grew quickly and soon spread to become a huge industry. People travel from all over to stay at one of these premier resorts and partake in this hugely exciting activity. We'll grab a pair of skis, get our poles in hand, and sail down some of the best runs in the country. Of course, there's more to do here than just ski. These resorts can accommodate the raddest of snowboarders, as well as provide some rugged terrain for hiking, climbing, and even some great trails for mountain biking. After we've worked up a sweat the only way we know how, flying down some of Utah's best mountainsides, we can meet back at the lodge, dust off that fresh powder, and warm up by the fire. Well, that wraps up our adventure for today. We got to explore an ancient Chinese town, right in the heart of the megacity of Chongqing, before venturing out into China's breathtaking natural regions. We traveled by tram through the great city of Helsinki to a sequence of islands that house one of the coolest and most complex historical naval fortresses. And we jumped in an air balloon and sailed across the open sky over vast canyons before throwing on some skis and carving up the mountain, shredding through some fresh snow in Utah. Thanks for joining us on our trip around the world. There are many more adventures to come. Until next time, the world is waiting and the world is yours.